Hello, and welcome to World of Tanks. This is the Recon mode. And what Recon mode basically is that Wargaming has 3 new maps that are kind of like a work in development. And you can check them out in a special game mode called Recon mode. Which, if you play it enough, you get some rewards. Not big stuff. It's like XP boosters and stuff like that. And after 20 games, you get to fill out a survey, telling them which maps you liked and which you didn't like and why, and stuff like that. So this is the new Tier 8 Czechoslovakian premium heavy tank, the T-56. Which is broken. It's kind of overpowered. It's like kind of balanced by the fact that the standard penetration is quite low. But it has a 2-shot autoloader, and with 460 alpha per shot, that's over 900 damage in a single, like, 2-round burst. Which is quite insane at tier 8. And if you do meet someone you can't pen with the standard rounds, you can always press 2. Anyway, this map is called Outposts. It's one of the new maps. It's a 1000 by 1000 meter map, so it's quite big. It's, you see, our gun handling is not that great either. But let's just take a look at the map here. And I did not press 2 before engaging that Alpine Tiger, so I did not penetrate. Like these kind of well-armored Soviet heavy tanks. Well, this is Chinese, but whatever. Like the Alpine Tiger, the IS-6B, and stuff like that. They're not very good, but they are kind of the tanks that this tank struggles engaging, because it can't easily pen them anywhere without pressing 2. And by easily, I mean like you have to find some kind of a lower plate or a weak point or something, and the accuracy and gun handling doesn't really allow for that. But anyway, onto the map. Some people said that, hey, this is just a new version of Mines. But it's not really, because it's big enough that the hill in the middle, which is like in front of me here with the little castle ruin thing, it's not as dominating as it is on Mines. You actually have somewhere else to go. If the enemy takes the hill, you can get around it without being farmed. So it's better than Mines. Like, I haven't played this map that much yet, so I can't really say if it's imbalanced or if it's gonna devolve into like some kind of a boring meta. Here's an IS-6, and even a hit to the driver's hatch did not penetrate because I did not press 2. There we go, found the shoulder, and a good high roll of 500 damage. Again, this is not like the best game I've ever had in this tank, but as you will see, even when bouncing a little bit, when you do penetrate, you get so much damage that it kind of makes up for it. So, almost up to 2000 damage already, which isn't great, but it's at least within what you should expect on average. And one thing I do like is that if one team takes this hill, it's not like impossible to wrestle it out from them. again, unlike mines. So on the northwestern flank, which I took here, we have like a little town, and you can let me see, yep, can kind of just go around here if the enemy takes the hill, and you can be reasonably safe. On the other flank here, the southeast, you have more like an open flank with some like rolling hills, better for tank destroyers and medium tanks and such. And you can get around without being exposed to fire from the hill. Which again makes this map better than mines, which some people were comparing it to. So overall, kinda like it. There's something for all kinds of tanks here. It's not like Malinovka, where if you get that map and you're driving like a mouse or an E100, it's just, yeah, good luck having fun. And it's not like Himmelsdorf, where if you are driving something like fast and lightly armored, you don't really get to do much other than maybe taking the hill and hoping the enemy doesn't take it, so you can maybe farm some from there. So there's like basically there's stuff you can do in all kinds of tanks, and I do like that. It's not one of those, if you are say you are playing a session with mostly light tanks that night, and you go, okay, I'm gonna block Himmelsdorf and another urban map. Or if you are playing mostly heavy tanks that night, because you can block 2 maps, right? You're like, okay, I'm gonna block Prokhorovka and Malinovka, because I don't want to play those maps in my E100. So this new map, it's probably not gonna be a map you block in any type of tank, I think. Well, on to the next map and the next tank. So this map is called Far East, and it could be called Airfield, but it's not, because there's already a map called Airfield, which no one likes. And this is the VZ55, the tier 10 Czechoslovakian heavy tank. Not completely set up with field modifications yet. So the equipment I have on it is basically just something I had in my depot. I'm gonna put a turbo on it once I get the like the second equipment setup unlocked in field modifications, and I get that mobility slot. Maybe something other than improved hardening. But for now, this is what I've got. And this is, yeah, like the T95 says in chat, I kinda like this map. Again, you have down here in the south the designated heavy tank flank with some buildings you can side scrape off of and stuff like that, and artillery cover. And in the north you have more like rolling hills. It's kind of similar to the hill on Malinovka, this on the other side of the map here, but it's not as dominating, because it's on Malinovka, if you don't take the hill, then you have a very hard time taking the forest between the hill and the base, and if you don't take that forest, then you won't be able to cap, because the enemy will just sit in the forest and farm you as you try to cap. This map is kind of different, and you're gonna see how I think the south is gonna be the dominating flank here, at least if you are trying to go for a cap. doesn't mean the northeast is gonna be irrelevant. At least I don't think it's gonna be. But again, this map is something for all kinds of tanks, I think. Which again is a good thing. So let's go back to my point of view as I was playing this. So far I haven't encountered anything in the town. Well, I have spotted a light tank, so I'm just gonna try and go for that. And just like the T-56 in the previous battle, this is a 2-round autoloader, but instead of 3.5 seconds between the 2 shots, this is like 2 seconds. And the gun has very decent penetration with the standard rounds. And I think they tried to balance it by giving it not so amazing premium round penetration. But that just means that you are kind of just encouraged to just fire standard rounds, because there's very few things you can pen with premium rounds that you can't pen with standard rounds on this tank. Here, going in against a 277. And I'm reloading, which would usually mean you are dead in an autoloader. But the reload on this tank is not that bad. So 1 round into the artillery. And 1 into the light tank. And because this has decent turret armor, I can just sit hull down against this 277 until I reload. 1 round into him. And another into the light tank. And you can see the enemy cap is just to my left here. And there's a building right next to the cap, protecting you from anyone up on the hill. I don't quite remember all the things that happened in this battle, but I think my teammates took care of that light tank. And I find myself a pretty useful bush here. So I'm not gonna go for the cap just yet. I am hoping that the AE Phase 1 and maybe Type 5 are gonna go for the cap, while I provide cover. At least that's what my plan was. Because I know there's a Jagdpanzer E100 up in front of me somewhere. And I do not want to take a hit from that guy. But we are winning, so from now on it's just a farm fest. And good hit on the JPE. Again, this is a 490 on average damage per shot from this gun. So almost 1,000 damage burst if you connect both rounds. It's Both this and the T-56 are very much overperforming compared to other tanks of the same tiers. This is in terms of like third mark of excellency, this is just behind reward tanks such as the 279E and the Chieftain, while actually being ahead of tanks such as the Object 907 and 260. So, 2 shots, 2 hits, although on different tanks. And the gun handling it's actually not that bad. On this one you have the choice of 2 different guns. You have this 2-shot autoloader gun, and you have the stock 1-shot gun. Which has better DPM on paper and better gun handling, but this really is the better gun to use, because you get that meaty 1-2 punch. You can just pull back and reload my 2-shot magazine, and then forward again and be ready to pump out another 1000 damage. Like so. So yeah, expect this tank to be nerfed in a future patch. So that was the map Far East, which could be called Airfield, but it's not called Airfield, it's called Far East. On to the next tank and the next map. So I kept playing my T-56 and VZ-55 over and over again, hoping to get the 3rd new map, but I didn't get it. I just got Outpost and Far East over and over again. So while one of those tanks and the crew was locked in battle, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play my Löwe and at least grind some credits. And then I got this 3rd map, which is called Airship Yard. And yeah, this is that's the new map, the 3rd of the new maps. And again, I think this map is gonna be something for all types of tanks. That seems to be the theme with the 3 new maps, is that they are all maps where no like, it's not as if you feel irrelevant if you are a certain class of tank, which is again a very good thing. So on this western flank of the map you have this huge warehouse or factory. I guess it's an airship factory or hangar, because there are broken zeppelins on the floor. So ran into a tier 10 heavy tank there, but that's okay. And at first I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be like those huge factory, warehouse, empty buildings you have on the Pilsen map. But it's really not, because you have all this cover and different lanes within the building. And I did not get to explore all of this map or even all of this building during this battle, but from the looks of it, I think it can be quite interesting to play on. And that's also a something I've noticed with these new maps, is that they're not all that familiar wargaming formula where you have like 3 different lanes, or like almost like funnels. You actually have different different places you can go and get side shots and advance, or try to create almost like a killing field if you're holding a flank. It's not just 3 different alleys where whoever has the most powerful tank will just win. At least it doesn't look like it. Might be once people figure out which positions are the most dominating, and you get more of a developed meta, then it might devolve into something like that. But at least for now, it looks good. It's so nice to have something positive to say about the game you play, by the way. Not just doom and gloom posting about Crew 2.0, which seems to have been shelved. At least for now. So, yes, we are losing the other flank. I'm not too worried about this. This is just a recon mode, and I'm more interested in seeing what I can do from this flank. I don't think the like wins and losses in recon mode, I don't think it affects your main stats, and I know that you can't like do missions within recon mode because there are no personal missions, not unavailable, as you can see. I'm not sure if the damage counts towards like marks of excellency or anything like that. So this is just for testing out the maps, and I'm not really worried about losing this game, which it seems we are doing. So, eat a couple of shots from that VZ, but I had the hit points to spare, and I took out the tier 10. So, by advancing along this other line over this like overpass bridge here, I kind of unlocked that little stalemate. Well, at least for a short while, until I get taken out from the flank myself. So just like clicking around and watching the different parts of the map. So this is just outside the airship factory, or whatever it's supposed to be. And I didn't get to see much from the very other flank, but it's again, it seems like the other flank is more for medium tanks and fast lightly armored tanks, and this is more of a heavy tank rolling zone. And there are hold down locations, but those are hold down locations you can actually try to flank. So hopefully it's not gonna devolve into a stalemate. And instead of just like hold down locations that are like little mounds of debris, there are some places like that there where it's a hold down location if you have the gun depression for it. And I think this too. That little ramp up to the bridge, which is nice, because then you have tanks like the Löwe, tanks like the T-29, stuff like that. They get to shine in ways that some, for example, Soviet heavy tanks don't get to, at least in those specific positions. But you also have those little mounds of debris and gravel and whatever that are good for the like typical Soviet heavy tank, and there are corners where you can side scrape in your German heavy tanks and so on. So yeah, so far very positive impression of this map as well. Yeah, I like them. Goodbye and take care.